prayer?
Yeah, right.
Nyundo lana memba yanda bazo be janjo rembo je do ba ja de je do sa ma je je ba do nga ye son je wala ko ma je ye ba do nga ye son je wala te de re ne son de ne ma san da zan je ba do nga ye son je wala ko Kanze so je danze sa chen de la gomba de bone ngane je den de na jo je so de ze je ba ju la je ze lo nanda kong a jo do so sa wa yi che ja so se je lumbo Traba je de so na la nge wa gomba jo nye je la je zo lo sen jo de ba de me de we jo sen do da wa je la je ze lo de re je ra se ba so na ze je me chen je la je Mijodowa kalo jonza je konjora jawa jonza de je je wombo je je nye je la je nye ye shuba de la cha ze mo.
Usually one is fine. Whoever wants to visit first.
Then I started.
Yep.
So, because we are three yana together here, I want to take the middle path. I want to talk the Mahayana part of in the Mahayana, in the Tibetan tradition, we call the Lojong, mind training. One of the famous kind of teachings start by, I think, around 11th century. One Indian master came to Tibet called Adisha, and from there to most of his followers are practice this one. Lojong mind training is basically, we have a human nature is not good, honestly. Human is the one of the worst species to creating negative. I think worse than those vicious animals. Actually, when human try to do bad things, can do worse than anyone. So that reason I think they need lots of mind training. So his tradition, especially called the Katamba tradition. Not that this day there's called the new Katamba. It's not same. So they practice a lot of them. So basically, mind training is a practice of try to detach, because we are realm of desire. Human is a part of the desire realm. Normally, we divide it into the three poisons, like ignorance, attachment, and aversions. Ignorance, human are not that ignorance. Human is pretty intelligent part. Human is one of the greatest one. I think human much intelligent than like what we have in direct contact animals. When you look the animals and the humans, I think humans are more intelligent, especially understand of the what's right and what's wrong. I think what is a virtue and what is a non-virtue. Only human can recognize what is a non-virtue, what is a virtues. So that reason, I think humans are really intelligent, so we don't have that much ignorance. And we are not always constantly with the aversion, like anger, hatred, jealousy. Those are only temptations, sometimes comes. But attachment is 24 hours with us. We attach our food, we attach our house, we attach our clothes, we attach our family member, or we attach our own body, we attach our own position, and whatever. So much their attachment. We are live with the full of attachment. So that reason, I think this mind training is also teach us to how to let go, temporary pleasures, and try to be ascetic. How to so. So in this, there's one particular text, Mind Training, and there's one. I always think this one is it's called five powers. Like the rest of your life, you need those five powers. And first power is called the power of motivation. We take refuge to all Buddhism will take refuge to the three jewels, Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. And what we take refuge to the three jewels, I'm sorry to say, Jason, but what you take refuge to the God is not same. And honestly, when we take refuge to the three jewels, we always said, I want to become you. We say Buddha Sharanam Gacha means I want to become you. Give me the chance, give me the protection, give me the guidance. In the Buddhism, you want to become that one. But Christianity and other religions say that when you take it, it's part of refuge, but it's saying give me the protection, give me the help. So that reason, actually, when come to the Buddhism, taking refuge, it's showing us a motivation. When we said Buddha Sharanam Gacchami, we're not saying Buddha come to here. I need you. We basically saying I'm really misery. I want to come to you. Please release me or liberate me from this misery place. It's called the samsara. So that reason, I think that is common Buddhist motivation. They say we all want to be liberation from the samsara. And generally, this is long as you have a consciousness, you have this motivation. No one is wishing suffering. Everyone is hoping to have some kind of peace and happiness in their life. Each one uses a different method, but in the Buddhism, so we take refuge to the three jewels as a kind of like a showing us a direction about why you are doing all those practices. And Buddha showed the path, Eight Noble Path. Why you need that path? You need the path to get to the Buddhahood. Achieve the Buddha. So that is what is refuge mean. So that way, in the Tibetan we said distinguishing Buddhism and non-Buddhism is take a refuge to the three jewels. If you take refuge to the three jewels, Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, you are what called the category as a Buddhism. If you not take refuge to the three jewels, Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, even you have a PhD in the Buddhism, about the Buddhism, still you cannot call yourself as a Buddhism. Because you don't have that motivation, and you don't have aim of you want to achieve this one. So that reason, power of the motivation is always be renunciation. If you renounce from the samsara, you have chance to become Buddha. Without renunciation from the samsara, no chance to the Buddha. So that reason, even Buddha himself, Shakyamuni Buddha, he left all this life's luxury, kingdom, power, wealth, pleasure, everything he left and choose as a really ascetic livelihood. So the reason is if we cut this what called the web of samsara, we have no chance to completely free from suffering, no matter what we do. In the samsaric, what we normally think that try to ourselves freeing from the suffering is like a painkiller medicine. Temporarily reduce that suffering. Like lots of people try to do that one. Some people have depression, they go to shopping, or try to eat some better food, or go to concert or movie or something. Try to distract their mind from that problem, but they don't try to solve the problem. So that reason, Buddhism, we always have said you need a renunciation. For the renunciation, you have to understand the faults of samsara. If you don't understand the faults of samsara, you're not going to have renunciation. That reason, if you go to Buddhist teachings, they always talk negative, impermanent, suffering. They never say any good things. So we have one text in the Tibetan called the Jewel on Liberation. The text, first chapter is about the Buddha nature. Second is a spiritual master. Second is a human life. Third is a spiritual master. But fourth chapter is a faults of samsara. So half of students dropped from there. They said, we don't want to listen this misery information. I already know about the suffering. But I think different is in the Buddhism, we're not just only telling you about the suffering of samsara. Also, Buddha telling us the source of suffering. So like Four Noble Truth, called the truth of the suffering, truth of the source of sufferings. Because until you find the source, you have no chance to release completely from that suffering. If you want to eliminate the suffering, you have to find the where it's coming from, source. So the reason we always talk about the suffering, impermanent, and this on is help us to renounce from the samsara. So that if you have renunciation, then you have what called the reason to take refuge to the Buddha. Without the renunciation, you have no reason to take refuge to the Buddha, because the Buddha is not going to come to help your all simple problems. Your marriage problem, your financial problem, your that small problem, the Buddha not going to come to help you. So I think that reason when we talk about in the Buddhism and I know some part also Hindu, when the Indian Hindu people, when they have a problem with something in the family or anything, they go to temple and fight with their god. Complain, why you didn't do this one? You shouldn't do this. You should do this for me. Why you are complaining? Why you are making me this problem? I think the reason is because fundamentally what they believe is God is helping them to have ease their life. And the Buddhism is not about that one. Buddhism is Buddha give us a guiding to how to liberate from it, not just ease. To cut the source, find the source. So I think that reason, motivation of the renunciation, with the renunciation layer, when we take refuge to the three jewels, then we can tell why, Buddhism, we always said they need to take refuge to the three jewels. So that is called the power of the motivation. And the second is called the power of the I think maybe I'm not with the order, maybe I'm missing, but one is called the power of the seat. Power of the seat means now you need plant the seed to become a Buddha. You're not going to say, oh, I take refuge to the Buddha, now Buddha going to fix my all problems. If you want to liberate from the suffering, you need to accumulate the merit. The seed is the merit. More you accumulate the merit, more you have a growth. So that is the power of the seed, means that much as you can accumulate the merit. Like in the Buddhism, especially the Mahayana tradition, we show us how to practice the 6 paramita, how to be generosity, how to be moral ethic, how to be patient, how to be perseverance, how to be mental concentration, how to be learned wisdom. So those subjects help us to accumulate the merit in a different way, and that is a second power. And third power is a power of the feminization. In the Buddhism, we call the meditation. Lots of Western people think meditation means that stop thinking and sit down and relax. That is meditation. Actually, that is not really meditation. If that is a meditation, animal can do better than human being. They sleep few months for every year. They stop thinking. that is meditation. When we go to sleep, deep sleep is a meditation. Because when we're really deep sleep, even we don't have dream. So it's not meditation. Some people, they just need some kind of release, some emotional problem, so that way it helps. Maybe that doesn't work for them. But if you really want to liberation or nirvana, then your meditation is not working, because by that you're not going to free from the suffering, because you maybe stop thinking at the moment, but when you wake up from the meditation, those all thoughts come back same. Nothing changed. It's like painkiller medicine. It temporarily release from the suffering, but then slowly when medicines what called dosage is dosage.
Dosage.
Dosage is gone, and your pain come back. So that is not the meditation. The power of the feminization means you have to learn something first. That is called the wisdom. That wisdom is you have to practice again and again and again until it becomes a part of you. Like lots of time we talk about the compassion. We know the compassion, but 70-80% of our time we are lack with the compassion. We know the love, but like a majority of our time is we forget about the love because we have forgiveness. So that reason is why we have forgiveness is because we are not familiar with that. We have knowledge but not yet familiar. So for the feminization, we have to practice. Like in the Buddhism, we chant mantra. In the Vajrayana, chant lots of mantras. In the Mahayana and Theravada too, we chant lots of prayers. The chanting is not just making noisy, not try to irritate your neighbor. Chanting is a try to think that meaning to absorb into you. So that way one day that prayer meaning is becoming part of you. Right now maybe we memorize the prayer, but that prayer and your personality is nothing match. Reason is you have knowledge but not yet familiarization of a meditation. So after the knowledge, you have to build this familiarization. You have to build this what called the meditation. It's called practice again and again, and one day it will become a part of you. Then no matter what happened, it never go away. So in the Buddhism, we divide it into three basically, called the understand and experience and realization. First, you need to understand. But understand is like patch. Patch, like on the clothes we put the patch. It is stay temporarily, but at some point it is comes off. So understand is like patch. We will remember a little while, but if we not use, then after the some time we forget. So that is not good enough. And experience is like cloud. When we meditate, you get lots of experience. It's a really temporary, like cloud comes, goes. Most of the practitioners have some degree of experience. Lots of people mistake. They think, oh, now they achieve some kind of, high realization. They lost. They deceive themselves. Oh, now I'm a really highly realized being. I have some achievement. They misunderstood the experience as a realization. What is the difference with the experience and realization is the experience comes goes. Realization is like a mountain, never goes. Once you realize, and it is always with you, no matter what happened. So that way Miller ever said, when he is walking, he is meditate. When he is sleeping, he was with the meditation. When he is eating, he is with the meditation. So that is a come from the realization or familiarization, power of the familiar. So we have to practice again and again and again until it becomes a part of us. Then fourth is called the power of the regret or remorse. acknowledging our own faults need a large, great amount of courage. Most of people or country, no matter who they are, try to too much defending, because they have so much fears. When we started defending, that means based on the fear, we defend ourselves. Try to always defense because we have so much fears. When you don't have a fears, you're not going to defend. Like for example, if your job is not really stable, you have to worry so much about people. Maybe in a small criticize, it can jeopardize your job. You may lose the job. But when your job is really stable, you don't care what people said, because you know you are a steady job. By those some kind of criticize, not going to cause to lose your job. Then you're not going to defend that much. But if you don't have that confidence of your job, you have to defend so many different angles. Yeah. So that is because of that you have a fear of losing job. So that way you have to defense. When you don't have fear of losing job, you don't need to defense. You're more relaxed. You're more careless. So I think so because of that reason, when we acknowledging our faults, need good amount of courageous. Lots of time we have not courage to acknowledge our own faults. I think this is a big problem for us. We always be defending ourselves. Oh, I'm not that bad. Even we know we have lots of problem, issue, still we try to think, oh, I don't have those all problems. When somebody try to say something, then you get immediately irritated. You know? So because we are lack of courage, when we are lack of courage, we cannot acknowledge our own problem. If you cannot acknowledge your problem, you have no chance to liberate from those problems. You have no chance to free from that problems. So that reason, power of the remorse or regret is giving us chance to free from those all mistake what we did. Everyone make mistake, unless you're Buddha. In the Buddhism perspective, even you said high-level Bodhisattva may make mistake, except Buddha. Now, based on the Buddhism, we have to say it that way, of course, because Buddha is full of wisdom and without any false of confusion. So that way, Buddha never going to make mistake. Like when your eyesight is really good, you will see all where harm comes. You never got that area. You know how to avoid from those all harm for your body. When your sight is not good, or you're rushing, or you're careless, then you bump, or you hit yourself, or all those things happen. So that way Buddha is really awake. His side of wisdom is really clear, and he's always careful. So that way, from my perspective, 100% Buddha have no mistake. Otherwise, I think pretty much everyone makes some degree of mistake. Like a person like myself, I become monk since I was 13 years old. I'm 48 or something, I think around there. Every day when I look back my day, every day I make some mistake. No matter how many years I try to practice Dharma, still I every day make some mistake. So Adisha said, he said, generally non-virtue have no good quality. Everything is false. But there's one quality that you can purify it. So that this purification is only you can do is if you have a regret. If you acknowledge your faults, then you can purify it. So that reason, the power of the remorse or regret is really necessary. Then last part is a dedication, power of the dedication. So whatever we did, meritocratic activity, we have to dedicate it. I think maybe other Buddhism also talk in the Mahayana. There is a called the text called the Way of a Bodhisattva's Contract wrote by Shantideva, one Indian master. In the text said, one moment's anger can destroy 100 years merit if you're not dedicated.
That's right.
So, but if you dedicate it, except you have a wrong view, any other emotion not going to destroy your merit. So you have to learn how to dedicate it before the disturbing the other emotion. In the Vajrayana Lhasa text, we have a sadhana meditation. Every sadhana said, end of the sadhana said, before the other emotion disturbed, you should dedicate, chant this dedication. So anything what meritocratic activity, what we do, always try to dedicate. If you look the Buddha's life story, anytime Buddha invite by someone food or something, Buddha always asks to whom I should dedicate this merit. You know, so that reason we have to do this dedication. So I always said this is like a saving account. You know. So you're saving all your meritocratic, unless there is a what called that whole economy is clapping. What called it?
Recession?
Yeah, recession. Recession of a wrong view. If there is a recession of a wrong view, no one can save. Yeah, unless you have recession of wrong view, your account is really safe. Make sense? So that reason we must dedicate it. So this 5 is called the 5 powers. I think this is pretty much every day from the morning to until the end of the day. We should remember those. That is what is meant in the Buddhism mindfulness. You know, don't forget what you have to do. The mindfulness means that one. So this is what I thought just good to share, because this is not Theravada, it's not Vajrayana, it's just the middle one, it's a Mahayana. So we have to, if you want to make that, what call them, we don't want to make mistake, you have to choose the middle one. Never make mistake if you choose the middle one. So that way I try to choose the subject as a middle one.
That dedication and merit is really very important.
Yes.
I'm glad you brought it to the focus, because before any other emotion, negative rises, that is a major, for ordinary people like us, we need every bit of that.
Yeah, but I think lots of time we dedicate wrong way.
Yeah.
Also, we try to dedicate for the temporary success, temporary benefit, like becoming long life, becoming wealthy, becoming powerful. Then that is actually long-termly you are building your samsara as a deeper.
You're right.
Like you put in more and more when people drawing in the water.
Cement.
Concrete, make it heavier. It take deeper and quicker to the sea of samsara. So it shouldn't dedicate it that way. That is a mistake dedication. If you do dedication on the kind of what called temporary beneficial. Because if you dedicate to the become Buddhahood, until you become Buddhahood, your merit have continually resolved. If you dedicate it for some temporary one, you will have that result. But once the result comes, then merit is gone, because your aim is gone.
Is there a term for the 5 powers in the Mahayana tradition?
This is like Mahayana tradition.
Yeah, is there a particular term?
Yes, I think this is from the one of the texts called the 7-point mindfulness. mindfulness? No, mind training. 7-point mind training. From there to this mention this five power in that text. So this is basically from the mind training teachings.
Any other questions? Bhante, please.
Well, it's it's a very concise but comprehensive presentation. I have little to add to that, but since I'm already here, I guess I should present something. I'm not as good a presenter to memorize everything in my head, so I'm going to use the PowerPoint, and I need to move in front of that table. Could
Yeah, I think one more chair can be brought. Let that be there, we can have another chair.
I'll just move over. Thank you.